So, you were at middle school, so everybody was starting to say stuff to you, like, I like your stuff, I like your skirt. Except the bullies. So, Abby really, literally was talking to you. And then Sunny has a crush on you. It was Kevin from the school. Everybody calls him nerd. When he used to be in kindergarten, he got all A's. You really looked at him how he ways to look at you. So you guys became besties. So everybody has a crush on you. Miss Circle really says, why did everybody has a crush on Listener? Why the fuck? And all the teachers got confused. So they were having a meeting. They said, Miss Bloomy says, why did everybody has a crush on Listener? Like, they can't have a crush on something else? And Miss Travel says, yes, it was like literally so fucking nightmare. Like literally talking to her how her skirt is, how she beautiful is, how she pretty is. And then Miss Circle says, we need to go separate her. Where did we have to go separate her? So Miss Bloomy and Miss Travel didn't know. So the other teachers came. Miss Shara says, oh my gosh, this girl, the new girl, is literally kind. She's literally kind. She helps me with the kids. And then Miss Grace says, the principal says, sorry, I burp. The principal says, Miss Grace, well, she said, well, she is extremely cute with her skirt, but people always say she her skirt something. But Oliver came to the class, and she said, Miss Circle, and she said, what, Oliver? I'm busy with Meanie. Why the fuck you always have to come here, bitch? And Miss Grace says, hey, language, Miss Circle, you don't want your children to say that. So Miss Circle says, sorry, Oliver, but what do you want? Oliver says, I have feelings for someone. And Miss Sarah says, ew, Oliver has a crush. It's just Rosales, but Oliver literally did make out with Listener last night. And then he kissed Listener like this. And then he was started biting in your neck, and you was like, Oliver, stop it. And Oliver says, why did I? You're moaning right now. And you were blushing, and you were saying, please, stop. It was so embarrassing. And Oliver rarely stopped it, and he said, why the fuck are you just doing that? Okay, I'm done. And Oliver walked away. You were blushing. So Kevin talked to you a lot about his friend, that he has a dog at home. And Oliver was extremely jealous. So he bites your neck all the time. So he bit your neck, and you were like, ow, Oliver, why'd you do that? And he said, you look so cute in the face. And you blush. And then you said, okay, I'll really know. And then you were extremely blushing a lot. So Angle was like, what the heck? What the heck? Oh my God. So Chip really wanted you to carry him. He said, and Chip says, hey, new girl, can you carry me? So you picked him up. And you were tossing his up in the sky. And he was like, wee, thank you, you're the funnest. And you were so happy. So when you had to show somebody your pet, and it was a dog, and you said, me, my dog, ew. And everybody was starting loving your dog. And Angle and Dylan and Oliver did care about your dog. And you tell every day about your dog. till your dad passed away, had to give you that dog. Everyone was screaming and crying about you. And then you had sickly blush. And then you were saying, when the Miss Circle says it's time for break, and she said you guys have 30 minutes. Everybody was so happy because all the people get into break for working. So you guys went somewhere. You guys are airplane. So you didn't do anything today. So Chip saw you and says, "Hey, are you the girl who carried me?" And you say, "Yep, that's me." And Chip says, "Oh, I want to give you something." Well, he gave you a box of the toys, but it says a happy birthday. But Chip's, and you said, "It's not my birthday." And Chip says, "Open it, it looks so good." And you were exactly shocked. The picture of you and your dad that Chip found. So you cried. So Chip had comforted you. And he said, "It's okay, your dad is in your heart." And you start crying. And you said, "Thank you, Chip. You're really so kind," the little young man. And Chip laughed and says, "Thank you, ma'am." When the break was not over yet, so you guys have 21 minutes. And Oliver literally just dropped your photos and ripped it. And Chip says, "Hey, you're not supposed to rip a rata." And then Oliver says, "What the heck? Will you be watching so many movies?" And Chip says, "No." And then you hugged him. You hugged Oliver. And he was extremely blushing. And then he just hugged you. That he literally needs somebody to hug him.